We joke all the time in here, the greatest sales job Rich ever did was getting Steve to come on board. So that first year was, I would say it's the hardest. Every day is hard. This past year has been hard. The last 2 years have been hard or whatever. No one in that first year knew who Atlas was, nor did they care. The industry was too good. They're like, why do we need another contract? We're getting all of our needs filled through the agencies that we have right now. So that's when I started talking to Steve Ryan.
I got talked into this place by Rich Smith. Many baseball games, many hot dogs, and lots of Rich saying, hey, come over, we can do this.
Look, you gotta come do this with me. I know we're a startup. I know you're making good money there. I know you're doing really well. Come do this with me. And I would go home and my wife would ask me how I did and if I talked him into it yet. And I said, yeah, I think I'm getting close. I think I'm getting closer. And a few times she laughed at me and that drove me a little bit. And it's an inside joke with us now that just made me want it that much more.
He eventually convinced me to come over. Left a job at a previous company, came to Atlas when they had about 10, 15 people in the office back in 2013. So coming into the office from a bigger company and seeing just a couple people in a small area and knowing that it was starting all over again was kind of scary, to be honest with you. We got going and
that first week he came over, it was, he wondered what the hell he did. And it was because he saw just what it was like to be in a startup and what it was like just how sparse everything was and what we didn't have versus what he had before. But I think it just drove him forward.
First thing we did is we knew we had to put a lot of time in, so we sat on the phones and just kept calling every hospital. I mean, that was my day in, day out, trying to find contracts, trying to find open accounts and hospitals that would give us a chance at the time. And soon after I was here, I was told the company was closing its doors, which was a horrible to hear, especially with all the time we were putting in. So I asked the original owner if he would sell, and he said yes. So I bought the company along with Rich, and from there we knew we were all in. We had everything on the house, our house, our cars, everything was in for this company to be successful. And at the time, it was losing money, so it was a little scary. I was all in. I came to Atlas because I wanted a chance to build something and be part of something that was building.
And we went and had beers one night, and he was like, man, you gotta tell me it's gonna get better. I'm like, I promise you it's gonna get better, but we only if we do it together. Like, we have to do this together. It's you and I against the world, and we're gonna do this together, and I promise you, I'll work harder than you ever imagined to make this work. And he said, okay. And at that point, I think there was a big turning point for us to kind of get things going in the right direction.
I believe in the people I had here. I'm gonna be honest with you, I wouldn't have taken that chance. I believe in myself first, right? I know I can work hard, right? There's 24 hours in a day. If you put your mind to it, you can get a lot done in a day, right? So I believe if I worked really hard, I've had success in the past, so I trusted that I could work hard enough to make it work, but I also trusted in the people that I had around me. So knowing that they've all been successful in the past, it kind of gives you a little confidence.
Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you for being a friend. There's a little nod to you know who. But yeah, I appreciate the relationship and I appreciate the job. I try to show my appreciation every day just by showing up and working because it's an opportunity and it does not get lost on me. So
I try to say it to Steve every time I see him, but it's thank you. Atlas has changed my life a lot. It's helped me grow as an individual, as a leader, as a coworker, as a friend, as a family member. It shows me how to work with people who I may not completely understand or who may have a different way of thinking than I do. But Atlas has very much so impacted me in a positive way. Thank you for keeping the end goal always the same, of being a stable company, of doing the right thing, doing it the right way, and being there for our employees.
I can't credit Steve enough. Our job is to take care of the traveler. They're being put on the road away from their family, their friends, everything that brings them comfort in their life. They're putting their faith in us to go take care of other people's family members that are sick in the hospital. The least we can do is care for them and put our all into making them have as successful an experience as we possibly can. There have been bumps, there's been bruises, there's been learning curves, or there's been some failures or a lack of preparedness in places. And you know, those seem to spike on us every so often. And I don't think that's a sign of a poorly ran company. I think that is a sign of a company that is succeeding, that has a good plan in place, and one that is willing to adapt to keep up with the success they are reaping. And that's again where I credit Steve and Rich with the ability to make those decisions, to be present. You walk in the door here and they're the first two to greet you. So the ability for them to not only be passive owners, but to actually engage involved owners that relay their opinions, relay their thoughts, and not from a position of ownership, but from a position of being in the know, being a part of the discussions. I think it gives our agency a tremendous advantage in the industry to adapt and move as quick as we possibly can when it is a smart move to do so. So can't imagine doing this anywhere else. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm grateful for the opportunity I've personally received. I know my life, my family has benefited tremendously, and I am excited to see what the future holds for us.
I love Atlas, I love the people here. When you come in the door in the morning, it doesn't feel like work. And you know, I tell these guys that's what I've always wanted. Always wanted to come in and just be excited about the day and see what we can actually achieve. And you know, hearing the stories from other people and their weekends and you know, and what they're working on, and then just to see the company grow from where it was. It's not even the same company, but it has a lot of the same people and a lot of the same feel, even though it's a lot larger company. So that's our big challenge. I think making sure we're on top of technology and making sure we're keeping our culture. I mean, if we do that, we take good care of people, the rest kind of follows.